Winning lacrosse is part of the rich tradition here at Princeton University with 6 national championships to their credit. This year's defense, led by junior Chad Wiedmeyer, will have a stiff challenge as North Carolina comes to town. A potent attack led by senior Billy Bitter. It's North Carolina, Princeton, coming up on ESPNU. Welcome to Old Spice College Lacrosse. We are on the campus of Princeton University here in Princeton, New Jersey, as the number 10 North Carolina Tar Heels take on number 7 Princeton. Hi everyone and welcome to Princeton. I'm Rob Simmelcare along with 2006 Tewarton Award winner Matt Ward as we get set for a matchup of 2 top 10 teams, both coming in, Matt, playing some pretty good lacrosse.
Yeah, these are 2 extremely talented teams. They have veteran leadership and players who have the experience, but they're also young all over the field, so I'm excited to watch them play tonight.
You mentioned young, Matt, and young is exactly what they are. These 2 teams have the top 2 ranked freshmen in the country, and Princeton brings in Tom Schreiber, who's really playing great offense.
Yeah, Tom Schreiber, the number 2 rated freshman in the country, has been lights out this year. He leads this Princeton team in scoring, and last week against Hopkins, he was lights out. He was shooting the ball precisely. I love his stroke over the top to the corners, and you can see here, when you have range like this as a freshman at the top portion of the cage, you're a special player, and the awareness around the cage is something that you don't see in most freshmen.
The number 1 ranked freshman in the country coming in, Nicky Galasso, and Matt, he's playing like it so far.
Yeah, Nicky Galasso leading this North Carolina team in points, and they had Billy Bitter on attack. You don't expect to see that, and you look at his numbers. He's got 10 goals and 9 assists. He's very well-rounded. He can take it to the cage, but he can also find his teammates in the right spots.
A lot of talent on the field, both sides tonight. Let's now take a look at our impact players of the game, brought to you by Warrior. And if you're a college lacrosse fan the last few years, Matt, you know about Billy Bitter and Chad Wiedmeyer.
Yeah, it's a matchup of 2 first-team preseason All-Americans. Billy Bitter, probably the most electrifying player in college lacrosse, and Chad Wiedmeyer is the captain of this Princeton defense, and he takes most offensive players out of the scoring books.
All right, let's get a look at the goalies tonight for Princeton. Tyler Fiorito, a junior in nets. He's had a solid year so far. There you see his numbers, a 1-1 record, a flat 7 goals allowed average, and a 63% save percentage. He also has been much better in goal when Wiedmeyer has been there on defense for Princeton. And for North Carolina, Chris Madelon is senior in his 2nd year as a starter for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and Madelon last year started out great, and he kind of lost a little steam towards the end of the season. This year, he's playing big in the cage. He's around 52%. He needs to get that number up higher, but a very capable goalkeeper.
These 2 teams coming in playing some good lacrosse. There you see the head coach for Princeton, Chris Bates, a Dartmouth alum, now in his 2nd year at Princeton as head coach. His record 12-6, and he comes in with a team that has some talent, could do some damage. They're coming off of an impressive win, 12-6 at Johns Hopkins last weekend.
Yeah, and Coach Bates built a program at Drexel into a top 20 team. And now at Princeton, he's brought that same flair. He's brought his creative offense, and he has this team clicking on all cylinders early in the season.
And at North Carolina, Joe Bresci, his 3rd year down at Chapel Hill. He, of course, came from Ohio State, and he has really gotten this program back on the right track. There you see his record, 29-10, 17-0 at Fetzer Field in North Carolina. So they've played great at home since Joe Bresci arrived. The question is, what can they do on the road tonight?
And this is his 3rd year, but it's really his first recruiting class. And that was something he was interested to see. How do these freshmen play away from home? The first challenge this year at Ohio State, they didn't perform very well. So he's looking to see what improvement they made in this game tonight.
And we mentioned the top freshman recruiting classes that both of these 2 teams have. Joe Bresci, an outstanding recruiter who did a good job at Ohio State with that, landed Nicky Galasso, the number 1 rated freshman in the country by Lacrosse, Inside Lacrosse magazine. So he's gonna, so far, gotta be proud of what he's done as a recruiter.
I mean, North Carolina is ranked 10 freshmen in and out of this game, and only 8 seniors. Talk about top heavy and bottom heavy. They need those freshmen to become sophomores very quickly for them to be where they want to be.
All right, as we get set for the opening face-off, there you see the very different results these 2 teams have had at the face-off decks. North Carolina has been great, and they get off to a good start, and a quick shot right off the opening face-off. The save made by Fiorito. So there you see North Carolina as R.G. Keenan did a tremendous job on the quick face-off win and shot. But the save by Fiorito gets the ball back to Princeton.
And that was a nice job by Princeton's defense by making the face-off guy take the shot. I'm a big fan of that. Don't let the attackmen get their hands free in transition opportunities. Make someone who's not as strong offensively, who's usually a face-off guy, take the shot, and your goalkeeper, Tyler Fiorito, is going to make that save.
Princeton now their first offensive possession of the game. The Tigers coming in at 1-1 on the year. You mentioned the win at Johns Hopkins last week.
And Princeton runs a very unique style of offense. They really like to get in a circle set and set a lot of picks on ball. It's almost a hybrid indoor, outdoor lacrosse offense. You don't see most teams run this play.
Chris McBride, number 15, on attack. This Princeton attack missing one of their top players, Jack McBride, the brother of Chris McBride, not available tonight, suffering from a groin injury. And so Princeton a little bit shorthanded on the attack, and you saw right there, they worked it around that, but weren't able to really get a quality shot.
Yeah, Jack McBride is a very talented player, and what's he's so good at is he was very good at getting to the cage and carrying the ball. And without him at the attack position, they don't really have that creator that they do when he's playing.
So now we see the first sustained offensive possession here for North Carolina. They get it into the box and then bring it back out to midfield. Tar Heels coming in at 4-1. They've played a lot more lacrosse so far this year, and a first shot of the game, second shot of the game, Jimmy Dunster, number 20, fired that off, and a very sharp start for Tyler Fiorito in goal for Princeton.
Yeah, Tyler Fiorito came onto the college scene as a freshman and was unbelievable, earned All-American honors. Last year had a tough start to the season, but really picked it up late, and this year he's saving about 65%, and he's playing as well as anybody, and right now you can see he's seeing the ball well. 2 bounce shots. I don't know if North Carolina's placement and what they wanted to execute is the right approach for him, but really he is just seeing the ball great, and he's one of the best goaltenders in the country.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game tonight. And Matt, for Princeton, you talk about the importance of forcing North Carolina's midfield to do something.
Yeah, and when you say that, North Carolina is just so talented at attack position, and they're very young in the midfield. So if I'm Coach Bates, I'm making those young players beat me. I'm not letting Billy Bitter and I'm not letting Thomas Wood and Holman beat me. I'm letting the midfielders who have less experience really take over the game.
Here's a shot for Princeton. It goes wide. Number 10, Jeff Recaro, firing that shot left to the net, backed up by Princeton. First home game of the year for Princeton. Playing here at the Class of 52 Stadium. A shot there going wide again. So Princeton missing the cage on their first couple of shots. That one was from Tom Schreiber, the freshman.
Yeah, and you can see him. He can get some heat on his left-handed shot. He's a right-handed player, but he really is just so well-rounded. He's an old-school midi. He can get up and down the field, and on offense, he can do anything. He can shoot on the run. He can shoot with his feet planted on the ground. And he's also got great vision, keeps his head up. He is the real deal.
Forrest Sonnenfeld, number 2, sends it over to Schreiber. Here's the freshman, got the long mid-stick pole guarding him. So North Carolina, not surprisingly, paying a lot of attention to Schreiber early on here. And they've got Mark Staines, number 6, the long stick midi, marking him. Now from the near side, a shot again going wide from Fracaro. So Fracaro's taken 2 shots, missed them both wide.
Yeah, and about Princeton, I kind of like the approach here. I think they're going to be more deliberate in their offense. They're not going to really push the ball up and down the field. I think they want this game to be low scoring because they know they have a great goaltender, great defense, but they're not favored in the face-off X in this game. So they really want to just have limited possessions and be successful when they have them, but don't give North Carolina the ball or the opportunity to win the face-offs.
Sonnenfeld. Back out to Schreiber. Now Sonnenfeld fires and scores. Forrest Sonnenfeld, the sophomore, makes Princeton a 1-0 leader.
And it's a breakdown on defense from North Carolina. You're not supposed to give a good shooter like Sonnerfield that much time and room. It's just a simple adjacent pass. You have to be matched up on the players in the most dangerous parts of the field, and North Carolina didn't do it there. Good recognition by Princeton.
So far as Sonnenfeld, the second leading scorer on this Princeton team, 5th goal of the year, and it's 1-0 Tigers. See the stat track. We'll keep track of stats throughout this game, and Princeton able to get a face-off win. Those are going to be very useful for the Tigers. Not expected to do a lot at the face-off X. They have struggled this year with face-offs, but they get a clean win there, and they go right back to work after scoring the game's opening goal.
First opportunity we get to see Princeton's second midfield with Schreiber in there. They like to rotate some of their players, and it'll be interesting to see. I think they're going to like to attack with Mike Grossman, the sophomore lefty, who's a big, strong, athletic kid who's a tremendous high school football player, and he has the ball right now, and I really think they're going to look for him to initiate.
Short stick on, he gets rid of the ball. It's swung around. Tyler Money, number 27, to Schreiber, who fires a bounce shot wide, out of bounds. Princeton will maintain possession.
And something you see here at Princeton, it's one of the only old school turf fields left in Division I. You can see these bounce shots. If you bounce it far enough out, you're able to get the ball to the top portion of the cage, which is almost unstoppable for any goalkeeper.
A feed to Schreiber. He couldn't corral it, and it comes across the near sideline, out of bounds. ESPN News coverage of college lacrosse will continue tomorrow. First, at 11 a.m., the number 1 Syracuse Orange face Big East rival Georgetown. Then at 1:30, 9th-ranked Cornell will take on number 2 Virginia. That's all part of the Conica Minolta Face-Off Classic on ESPNU tomorrow. So this is just the start of a big weekend of college lacrosse here on ESPNU. A Friday night appetizer for you. Last Friday night, of course, it was UVA and Syracuse up at the Carrier Dome. A great game there. Matt, now let's take a look at North Carolina's keys to this game, and you talked about the importance of those freshmen.
And I think it's really going to be, that's the key, because I really think Princeton's going to make them be the ones to make the plays. So if they can step up and play well, they're going to have a chance. And then either the goalie, Chris Madelon, to play a little bit better than that 52% save percentage he's at right now.
Long pass underneath. Here's Billy Bitter. First touch for him today. Bitter, the senior who has been so good for really 3 solid years at North Carolina. One of those guys, it's hard to believe he's still playing. I remember him 2 years ago putting up big numbers as a sophomore. Bitter also one of the top picks in the MLL draft that took place before the season, drafted by Denver in the top 5 picks.
And when you watch him play, what you look for is he's either going to try to get topside, but what he really likes to do is duck under. So if I'm Long Ellis, the Princeton defender is actually guarding him, I'm trying to force him up the field like he's been doing, because he's so creative inside, getting under, and he's not as effective when he's going swinging to the top side of the field.
You saw right there, the last touch he had, he was forced out. This is Marcus Holman, number 1 for North Carolina. Holman's got the short stick on him, trying to work his way in, fake the shot.
He's got to move the ball there. He drew a lot of attention to himself, but good offense is drawing the slide and then making 2 crisp passes for a shot. You can't draw the slide, then hold it and let the defense recover, and that's what happened on that last play.
And a shot going wide there from Jimmy Dunster. Dunster, his second shot of the game, goes wide.
Jimmy Dunster is a player that I really think has all the skills to be a first-team All-American lacrosse player. He's very athletic. He has an absolute cannon. His big problem is he's shooting 18% for his career. That's just not going to get it done. And he doesn't realize that if he gets the ball in cage, he shoots it so hard, it's going to go in. Bitter
again, playing with his back to the goal. Look at him trying to find some space there, and you mentioned it very well there, Matt. That's exactly what they're doing, just pushing him away, sort of like a post-up player in basketball where you want to keep out of the paint.
And Billy Bitter's strength is not posting up. It's this quick, make that one sharp move and explode. And Long Ellis is doing a nice job engaging him early and preventing that from happening.
Out top here, Nicky Galasso, the other super freshman in this game. Galasso firing his first shot of the game, and it goes wide. So a couple of wide shots here from Carolina on this possession. They will maintain it on the back up as we approach the 6-minute mark in this first quarter.
And talk about getting some respect as a freshman to have Chad Wiedmeyer guarding you. You're getting the #1 defensive player. Not that Long Ellis isn't a great defensive player, but you're getting Princeton's premier player guarding a freshman. That's how talented he really is.
Wiedmeyer, captain of this freshman team, first team preseason All-American as well. So that's some heavy defensive firepower being brought against the freshman. Out top here, Marcus Holman, #1. Holman, a spin and a shot goes high and wide.
And you can just see the job right here Long Ellis is doing on Billy Bitter. He's forcing him up the field. You can see Billy's trying to sneak under, but he's just sitting on that back shoulder, driving out the hips. That is perfect fundamental defense.
Bitter again. Let's see how this confrontation works out. He again comes from behind the net. Now he spins and fires a shot, and Fiorito makes the save again on the low shot. So Bitter able to find some real estate there, but his shot, the low shot, picked up by Fiorito. Now Bitter again fans on his shot. He had good position there on the pass, but couldn't keep it in his stick. Ball hits the ground, but Carolina picks it up. So a couple of chances there for Billy Bitter. Now it's Dunster, a pass and a shot and another save by Fiorito.
And just not enough angle on that shot by Wood. Fiorito's going to eat that up every time. What he's so good at is he's a big body, but he plays his angles exceptionally well. And right there you can see he was on the pipe, and there's no way Wood, who's a great shooter, is going to get that by him.
So a sharp start here for Tyler Fiorito, the junior, 6'2", 200 pounds, a big body in net for Princeton. And so far he has been sharp. 4 saves in the early going here already for Fiorito. Now we get a look at Chris McBride for Princeton playing out top, and Alex Capretta, #1.
And this is a good matchup for Princeton right here. They have Chris McBride with a short stick on him. I'd really like to look for them to utilize that matchup.
Sonnenfeld, who's got the game's only goal, working his way in, fires a shot wide. Works his way in, got a pretty good shot there from close range, just wide from Sonnenfeld.
And that's a big player using his body perfectly. You can see him, he ducks under it, but he uses the broad shoulders to really shield the stick, and he's very patient in that delivery of the shot, and just missed the bottom right corner.
Sonnenfeld again, he's got the long pole on him. A lot of traffic, gets rid of it, and a shot bounced wide.
And what you see there for Princeton is kind of that indoor mentality on offense right there. It's a lot of picks, but it's really those short, crisp passes. They're very difficult to play, but if you can pull it off, you get a lot of opportunities inside like Chris McBride did right there.
We saw Chris McBride a little frustrated with himself after that shot. He had a good angle, not a lot of time to set up and shoot, and he missed it wide left. Now a pass back out to McBride, misses him. That was actually Luke Armour, #16 for Princeton. Ball comes to the near sideline, and the whistle's going to give it back to the Tigers. Right back on the attack, Mike Grossman, #8 for the Tigers. Now for Caro. Got that long pole working him. Almost drew a pick there, but it didn't materialize, and so it'll be Sonnenfeld. Again, Sonnenfeld facing that long pole, trying to work his way in, really getting beat up. And he fires and scores. So far as Sonnenfeld, that's an impressive display. Then a flag comes in after the shot as well, so we may get a man-up opportunity for Princeton right after the goal.
And you can see Sonnenfeld is off to a very impressive start this year. 6 goals on the early season. You can see here, we mentioned his big size and his frame. And look at him just body up and use his shoulder, protect his sticks. You can't get a check onto his ball because onto his stick because he's just so big and very patient in his delivery.
And meanwhile, the call right on the heels of that goal a 1-minute illegal body check call against Mark Staines of North Carolina. So Princeton, with a 2-0 lead, is now going to get a 1-minute man up.
And the big part about that penalty, it was a dead ball foul. So what that means is that there's no face-off, and that's a place where North Carolina on the man would most likely win the face-off and be able to kill out this penalty. But now Princeton's going to get a possession because it was a dead ball foul.
So a chance here for the Tigers to get off to an outstanding start here. They got a 2-goal lead and a 60-second man-up opportunity here on their home field. And
they're starting in a 1-4-1, and the player I look for is Schreiber, who starts inside, but I got to imagine he's going to pop out and look for that step-down shot. He's out of the crease now, so this is a player I really look for. And the key to running an effective man-up is changing sets and making crisp passes. A pass to the ground can easily kill any sort of momentum you have on the offensive set.
Here's a shot going wide from Jeff Fraccaro. So Fraccaro settles for the shot from some distance, and it misses wide. Still some time here for Princeton.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Princeton start moving the ball around the perimeter at a faster pace and work those North Carolina defensive players, make them tired, and then look inside for an opportunity.
Schreiber inside, a shot and a score! A man-up goal for Princeton. And they have gotten themselves off to a 3-0 lead. Chris McBride, the senior attackman.
Chris McBride, the first goal of the season. He was a he was a player from Princeton. He grew up, he played at Del Barton, and he's one of those players where you ask him, would you be at Princeton? And it's definitely the place he wanted to go for his career. And he's such a smart player. He's been here 4 years, he's been successful, and buries the ball very well inside.
First goal of the year for McBride. And a timeout taken by North Carolina. So a rough start for the Tar Heels as they have fallen behind quickly here on the road. When we come back, we'll talk about the great freshman and his family tradition of lacrosse. Old Spice College Lacrosse is brought to you by Old Spice Fiji. Become one of the freshest smelling places on earth. And in part by Sector Spider ETFs. Visit them on the web at sectorspiders.com.
Ladies, does the fresh scent of Fiji make your man smell like a never-ending tropical sunset? Personalized love song melody? Romantic puppy surprise? Yes. Ladies, can I take you to the freshest of distant cultures? No, but Komodo can, and it will, and I will too. So will you? I hope so. I know so. Ice cream? Okay.
And welcome back to Old Spice College Lacrosse here at Princeton. The Tigers off to a fast start. They lead North Carolina 3-0. And we talked a lot about their outstanding freshman, Tom Schreiber. Well, as it often does in the sport of lacrosse, it runs in the family for Tom Schreiber. His father, Doug, you see him there, played at Maryland and won an NCAA title there back in 1973. Also won a world championship playing for the U.S. and is a member of the United States Lacrosse Hall of Fame. He did a lot of damage in the early 70s, not just as a lacrosse player, but also with that outstanding 70s mustache. But
I was going to say, that's a Hall of Fame mustache.
That's right, but a great tradition of lacrosse in the Schreiber family, and I think that's one of the reasons, Matt, he was such a highly touted player coming out of high school and the #2 ranked freshman in the country by Lacrosse Magazine, and now he's leading his team as a freshman in scoring. I can't remember, Matt, doing a game, and if ever, where you had the two top 10 teams both led in scoring by freshmen. It's early in the year, but that is a very unusual stat.
And you don't see it normally with teams that have a Jack McBride, a Chris McBride for Princeton, or for North Carolina. You have Wood, you have Holman, you have Billy Bitter. That just shows players are getting better at a younger age, and they're coming to the college game ready to excel from the very beginning.
Well, here's a big possession for North Carolina. If you can have a big one early in the game, I'd say this is sort of a big hold here for Carolina. They took the timeout after falling behind 3-0. That third goal, Matt, the result of a really sort of a needless penalty, a dead ball foul right after a Princeton goal that led to a 60-second man up. And now Carolina, you see again Billy Bitter, number 4, trying to work his way in there, holding the ball a long time, but not able to make anything happen. So back out to midfield, it comes in a shot, and there's Carolina's first goal of the game, followed by a flag. So Mark McNeil fires the goal in. It's 3-1, and a flag comes right after the goal. That's likely going to go, I think it may go against Princeton. We'll see in a moment.
And you can see it's just a nice job here. I think Princeton, Cunningham thought he had knocked the ball out of his stick, but it's a nice job for the freshman McNeil, charging down the right side, and perfect placement to the lefty goalie, finding that far pipe on the off-hip position.
And you know, almost an instant replay of what happened on the other side of the field. This time the call going against Princeton. Bobby Lucas, number 17, called for the exact same thing, a dead ball foul, illegal body check. And so he's now going to sit for Princeton, and North Carolina, on the heels of a goal, will get their own 1-minute man-up opportunity.
Both seem a little ticky-tack fouls. I think Lacrosse is a physical game, but they're really trying to focus on protecting the players with these late hits and the high hits. So that's clearly a big difference that the refs have really tried to focus on.
Man-up offense, you see, for North Carolina. Last year, they were tops in the NCAA in the man-up category. This year, struggling so far. Let's see if they can get it on track here. The ball hits the ground. And meanwhile, a push call is going to go against Princeton. So the ball was on the ground, but a push call against the Tigers gives it right back to the Tar Heels, still with some time left on the man-up.
And I think the big loss for North Carolina on their man-up was their midfield shooting. Kreider DiPietro was a very good outside shooter. And when you don't have the ability to stretch a man-down defense with those pressure shooters, it makes it a lot easier for the defense, and that's why they're down from that 50% down to 33%.
Under 20 seconds left on the man-up and in this first quarter here. A shot and a score from the far side as Marcus Holman, an odd angle shot up high, beats Fiorito, and it's 3-2.
Assist number 22, Duncan Hutchins.
That is Marcus Holman doing what he does best. He's a great time and room shooter. And you can see here, he just pings the upper right-hand corner from relatively little angle, and that's just a great shot. Nice job by North Carolina making the quick tic-tac-toe passes to get an open shooter in a position where he's very dangerous.
So just as Princeton had, North Carolina takes advantage of the man-up opportunity, and now a quick procedure call against Princeton gives Carolina a quick chance here as the quarter almost expires, and a save by Fiorito. A chance there for Carolina, a quick shot, but Fiorito makes the save, his 5th save of the first quarter, and he is perhaps the primary reason why Princeton has a 3-2 lead. A lot of back and forth action, man-up goals for both sides. We got a good one here, 3-2 after 1.
Third floor, Ladder Training Center. Born ready, built tough, hot like a Ford Hemi, muddy, bloody, and bruised up. My sport's everything, anything but ordinary. The crowd standouts know each other by the number, feed off the energy. Sweating in the gym for weeks, the wind is within our reach. Body checks, I have you kissing my